This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 529 for December 11th, 2017. Layers of Layers.
So I can say Wicked Tuna.
It's not a dragon slayer.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the room, we have Knobs.
What's up?
And Moonpeer.
Hello.
Let's just dive right into it. Knobs, what have you been playing this past week?
Alright, so, we've been playing a lot of Gears 4.
Okay.
Yep.
Never a bad time for that.
Like, back to old form, like 2, 3 a.m. gaming sessions at Gears 4, which...
Nice.
Thankfully, it's happening now and not in the heat of the summer, so...
Yeah.
That game is still so good.
Mm-hmm. And it's worth noting, I played yesterday. We did a 3-man 50 run on normal, and yeah, you can tell the difference on X. You can 100% X because the 60 FPS, the smooth as hell frame rate, it's noticeable. 60
FPS is unbelievably noticeable.
And it has HDR support too, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is also incredible. Yeah, so we ended up we played a couple times this week. We tried Inconceivable. We racked out at Wave 5. We could not beat Wave 5.
What is this? I don't know what this is.
It's the additional difficulty level above Insane.
Higher than Insane.
Inconceivable.
Yes. It's inconceivable. Which Donnie was pushing to play on Saturday night after we did a warm-up Insane run. So that's kind of the thing, I guess. Let me see. So Scott, Ian, Tomsy, and myself, we played 18 holes and then 50 rounds, and then 50 rounds of Horde, and the time it took the other 3 guys to beat 50 waves on normal.
Jeez.
So the entire time they're playing Horde mode, we're checking in to see what wave they're on. We're trying to catch them. We did it on hard. No, we did that one on hardcore with just the 4 of us. So it was kind of a walk in the park.
The 3 guys was me, Urgent, and Donnie.
Donnie's a juggernaut, man. He gets a little execution crazed where he has to go after, as he calls it, Wicked Tuna from the back. So that's kind of been his rallying cry. First guy out the door gets a Wicked Tuna. Like, I wonder what that means. But it's the thing he's been saying lately. And then him talking about my strong pimp hand because I need the power to make my mechanized army.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to stream some of it last night, and it did not go well because apparently Twitch doesn't want to work anymore, and Mixer refuses to let me stream anything. So that's kind of a bummer.
0 for 2.
So I was trying to do that last night when we were doing our Insane run on that one that's got the train in the middle. You know, normally we go to the south side of the map. We decided to do the north side of the map, and in one of those short little hallways, I created this room of death because it wasn't a kill box, like, because they were spawning in the room, so I had every corner, every angle in this thing covered.
Just all pointing inwards.
As soon as the wave would start, I'd kill like 15 things, like in seconds. We were on Insane, so it was pretty much almost a stress-free round for us, where we weren't really. Yeah, I started calling Donnie Cinnamon to get on your corner of West 3rd and Prospect and go get me my money. So it turned into a whole lot of pimping innuendo. Yeah, so we had a ball, and next thing you know, we're playing the next Blood Drive. Yeah, that's the name of the map. Yeah, we did that one, and then we did someone in the little village is one we did too. But yeah, so having those cards leveled up to level 6 now, because apparently we've been hoarding scrap for so long that we just create the 20 additional cards that we need.
Nice.
To level these, except for the perps. Like, I haven't got any perps up that high yet, because that would be a lot of cash.
Yeah.
Because I think there were like 600 to craft those suckers.
Jeez.
I don't quite have that amount. Scrap laying around. But yeah, so it's pretty much the mechanized show, because I'm averaging 740 kills per 50 waves.
Jeez.
I think I forgot. I should have took a note of the number of actual enemies I've killed, and I wish it actually broke it out to how many sentry kills that was.
Yeah.
It's in the tens of thousands. It's stupid. Because, I mean, there was times, I think the highest kill count I had in a round was 45 in one wave, where pretty much everyone got the observer ribbon. And I was like, I'm running out of wall space for all these MVP ribbon boys. I don't know what else to do. So the engineer effectively breaks that game.
Yeah.
Like, if you get a good scout that keeps you pretty flush, it's pretty insane. And man, we had a ball. We had a ball last night. Next thing you know, like, it's 3:30 in the morning. We're like, oh god! And I've got so many coins. I'm gonna redeem all these card packs, and then I got to go through and clean out all the duplicates and all the exclamation points because they drive me insane.
Yeah.
But Gears 4 is still great. And then we actually got a foursome together to play some the Golf Club 2. It was Scott, Ian, Tom Z, and myself played a quick foursome, and it literally turned into the first one to take a bogey was the one that lost.
Oh man.
I did not take a bogey and still lost, but I just could not hit those greens. I was swinging fast and loose, and it's like we were talking about on other podcasts. On other episodes, is how much that is such a simulation game, because you get the yips, you lose control of your thumb flick, and man, if you're not getting off the tee in that game, it is hard to score. Like, I was scrambling for par on almost every hole because I was in the bunkers almost every tee shot.
Oh man.
So that game is solid. We finished the last tournament that finished up yesterday. Last night was we played Urubu Woods or something. It's a course we played before, but we played from the red tees, and the course actually plays easier from the blue tees, which is the back, the higher difficulty tees, because you have a longer shot to land into safety. So you're not half clubbing it, you're not laying up all the time, so you can actually take full swings, which means I'm in trouble all the time. But my rounds went, like, I shot a 72 or a 77, and then 72, 72, 72. On the last round of the tournament, and I was trying to live stream it so Scott could see the last round played against him, because he was up on me by, I think 4 strokes going into the last day. And I ended up playing pretty well, but he played worse than I did. Like, his trajectory was the opposite of mine. He started off hot and cooled off. I started off bad and then just evened out. And it came down to the last hole where I'm giving him play by play as I'm hitting it, and I played 18 different than he did. Because I played it how he did the first day, and it didn't work out well. So I clubbed down 2 clubs to lay up, so I had this alley of trees I could shoot through, and hit a 3-wood up and get it up close to the green. It's the first time I made the green in 2. Right. And I'm left with, I was like, oh, he's in green under regulation. lining up. This is about a 27-foot putt, strong, right to left break, and it's up. It's going. It holds. It's in the hole and in the hole for eagle.
He did it
for the 2-stroke victory on the last hole.
Man,
like all I had to do was not poop the bed, and I had that in lock.
Yeah.
But it's ever since we've been playing all these courses that have handicaps enabled, it has evened out the field completely to where every tournament we're playing has been dynamic and always coming down to the last round, mostly the last few holes.
That's pretty exciting.
It's really good. Really need to get more people in the TVGP Springs Golf Club because this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Golf Club too. It seems has been really cheap often. So if anyone wants to pick it up, over the last couple of weeks, I've seen it for Xbox One for like $20.
Yeah,
that's a no-brainer.
Yep,
it's outstanding. All those courses are really good looking. Your play time is usually 20 to 30 minutes per 18.
That's not too bad.
You can literally get through an entire tournament in a little over 2 hours. So, and been trying to rack them out at 4 days. Yeah, 4 days to play each tournament. And we just recently upgraded the clubhouse again, so now we're at level 6 tournament, so now I can have a major tournament. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's more points.
The FedEx Cup.
Yeah, well, essentially, and that's like I'm just trying to pound through this and trying to see what happens when we do a season and then we end the season, we start fresh again.
Right.
So I think by that time, I think I can have 20 events, which we're really close to that mark right now. So if we can figure out how that works and maybe get more on a more standardized schedule and try and keep more people engaged and playing, but Scott and I are having a blast. Like it's even if it's just the two of us, we're still having a good time. And it's funny because it may have been because by the time I started instituting the handicaps, and everyone was comparing on how the scores were lying, like some people were shooting way over, and I was either on par or under. But once you get your handicap, it doesn't matter where you are as far as your skill set to my skill set.
Right.
And believe me, I've been throwing up the tournament before this. Man, I think I was like 40 over, and Scott beat me by 25 strokes, maybe even been 30.
Jeez.
That course had my number.
Yeah.
Like I just could not shoot well on it, and it's just an outstanding game. Probably one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah.
And then I was looking for something to play, and I downloaded Enter the Gungeon, and that game's pretty awesome.
Hold on.
This is the last game I would have figured you would have just said.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's rewind a second. Did Nubs just say he downloaded a roguelike?
I'm so excited. Enter the Gungeon is really good. It
is, and I'm horrible at it.
Oh, yeah. I was garbage at it for a real long time.
But yeah, like, I get it. I get that. I'm not a fan of her to shoot.
You can also hit one of the face buttons to do that, too. I found that'll be a little bit easier. All the buttons on the shoulder are also on the face.
Oh.
So that's a little bit easier to, like, shoot, dodge, keep on moving.
Yeah, because, holding that and then to maneuver around found a little bit cumbersome.
Yeah.
Because I ended up dropping the blue bullets, like using the blue bullet skill instead of dodging several times.
Oh, the blanks?
Yes, the blanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been playing Enter the Gungeon.
How far have you made it? Like, what's their furthest?
Far.
Okay.
Not far. I got to the weirdly jacked crow with a Gatling gun.
What? I don't even remember what his name is. The
Gatlin bird or something?
Yeah, Gatlin gull.
Gatlin gull, that's it.
Yeah.
That's 100% it.
So funny when he slides on the screen, it's just this yoked seagull.
Well, no, he flexes it and then his feathers just pop off and there he's just, boom.
It's so good. One of the tips they don't really tell you is if you... This is really hard at the beginning, but it will become easier over time. If you beat any of the bosses without getting hit, they give you a health upgrade. So you get a whole additional health thing.
Oh, so I should work on that.
Yeah.
Good words of the term yoked, though. I like that. That was good.
I'm glad you're enjoying Enter the Gungeon. I thought you would, and I'm excited for you to kind of start diving deeper into that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna work on that one a little bit. I think that's because I'm a big fan of dual stick shooters, and this really doesn't play like a dual stick shooter.
No, it seems
it kind of
like
does, but it seems like it should. I'm like, why do I have to hit a button to reload? It's like I'm just used to Total Carnage or Smash TV, where you're just vomiting bullets everywhere.
Well, hitting a button to reload, there is an item that you can do active reload, which will give you the same bonuses that Gears does. So that becomes a lot more.
Oh, I need
There's
that.
also a gun in the newest. I played this on PC recently, and there's a new gun. It's like the Totally Rad gun, and every time it has built-in active reload, and every time you hit it correctly, it does in like a totally 80s voice goes tubular or radical, and if missed, it goes bummer. It's real good and real dumb.
But yeah, no, that game looks cool, and I like the bullet characters. Like, I'm really enjoying shooting those things.
Like everything being a gun or a bullet.
Yeah, or the Gun-a-nomicon, or like just the dumb, funny gun stuff. And
Ammo-nomicon, is it called?
Ammo-nomicon, yeah. I
always want to call it the Gungeonary, but that's not what it's called. It's the Ammo-nomicon. The amount of gun lore they have written in that game is ridiculous.
It's fun. So that's probably going to be my rainy day game, or I just don't, where I feel like not playing Gears, apparently.
Blowing through a quick run.
Yeah.
I'm excited to share some more advanced stuff with you as you continue to get through there.
All right. Let's see. Talk about that. All right. And then, so during the Cyber Monday sale, I bought Forza Horizon 3.
Yeah.
And so I started playing Forza Horizon 3. And I made a poor choice in starting cars.
Okay. What did you pick? Do you remember?
I picked this Mustang, of course.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Okay.
You made a bad choice.
That thing is squirrely.
Yep.
Yeah, squirrely, and it handles like a pickup truck. Like, I know what I should be executing to do, because I know I could drive that car. I know it should react to me.
Yep.
And I just go into everything way too hot.
So you need to put some bags of sand in the back of that thing.
Yeah, I need some traction. So what I did to supplement that on the next race is I increased the tire pressure on the front two tires and decreased it on the rear, where I got significantly more grip.
Nice.
So I was able
to do that in there.
So I could play with the tire pressure, and then I wanted to play with the gearing because I sit there spin out for too long. And then I went to go play with the gearing, but apparently I don't have that unlocked yet. So I'm like, then why show it to me?
I think you unlocked that real early.
Well, hopefully, because then I can start digging into the nuts and bolts of that car, and I can make that thing run really tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that game is beautiful.
It really is.
4K and HDR. Holy cow.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But it feels like everything I'm driving is like on roller skates. Like it gives you a choice for like the next group of races you had your choice of SUV, and it gives you a BMW, a Jeep, a Lamborghini SUV, which I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some other normal one. I'm like, you gotta choose the Lambo, right? Like,
yep. And that Lambo is very, very much undrivable because it just wants to spin.
It is with the Jeep.
You would think that would be a logical choice, but it's a Lamborghini.
Yeah, for the ridiculous factor alone, you gotta pick it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that Lambo is somebody's done a Mako skin for it in the paint shop. So
nice.
Go get your Mako skin for that Lambo.
Oh, I chose the Soundwave skin where someone made Soundwave.
That's great. Those skins are great.
Yeah.
They're incredible. I was going through it. I was like, someone made this? This is amazing.
Well, I bought that game on launch, and there were an incredible number of them already in the game. Like, people just do that right off the bat, and it's just, like, within the first week, it's just like, okay, well, here are some really incredible designs already. Great.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's outstanding. I just need to spend more time with it and really get my hands back acclimated to a racing game.
Yeah.
Because man, those roads in Australia are really narrow.
Yes.
Really narrow.
Yeah.
So I've been fighting with that one for a while.
Man, that's a great game.
And then the last game this week, I finished Agents of Mayhem.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what, that game's not all horrible.
Yeah, it turned out all right.
It did. It went some interesting places. It was cool, kind of getting one of the Stillwater Kings in my group.
Oh, cool.
From Saints Row.
That's cool.
He was kind of a douche, but
they can't all be winners.
But yeah, but all the other characters were really great. I spent most of the time with the lady drill sergeant. Her weapon select was pretty much the best.
Yeah.
But the one Hollywood guy that one of the starting guys gets a Captain America outfit with the Saints or with the Fleur de Lis on his chest. I'm like, all right, it's so on the nose perfect for this game. But yeah, I mean that game ended up being fairly good and really challenging towards the back half of it. You really had to the situation you were going into. There's one scene where it does this kind of mix between Alice in Wonderland and Puppeteer craziness, like Queen of Hearts.
Oh wow!
Thing, and that part was amazing, and it ended really good. Like that back half of that game was stellar.
It's just a shame it took like 75% of the game to get there.
Oh yeah, I suppose I could just do the next mission, just do the next mission, just do the next mission. Like I was beelining my way through this, and I'm like, all right. And then it says, wait, I need a master hacker for this. Okay, so then that's Yeti, the giant Russian with the freeze ray. Like,
go on.
Why? Oh, okay. Oh, he's got some cool costumes too. He's got one where he's like a frozen rock. And then he's got the Incredible Yeti where he's green with purple pants.
Great.
So this game has a lot of fun with itself in the best ways. I wasn't a fan of, but yeah, I used pretty much Rama, the sergeant chick. I can't really remember her name, and Daisy. So I pretty much had the entire way through that game, which worked out pretty well. And if you're in a situation where you don't have the right character out, the other guy's like barking at you. He's like, "Hey man, my arrows will go right through these shields, like no problem."
Like, that's no interesting.
Problem. Yeah, and then, there's a whole bunch of upgrades and things and stuff that you earn through the game, and finding these the little shards for your power-up cores. Then there'd be 350 of them. I think I found like 90, and they are in devious spots. Like the only way I found a couple of these, I fell off a building and landed next to one. Like,
well, that'll do it.
Another thing I didn't learn until later in the game is using your location pulse to find areas that, like elevators, to get to the top instead of just scaling like one floor at a time on the outside of a building like Spider-Man. Like I was like, man, there's got to be a faster way up here. And there's like all these green arrows pointing up. It's like, oh, all right.
Oh, whoops.
I think elevator at the top of this sucker. But yeah, it does, and it also does another really cool thing with an AI character, which was surprisingly really eloquent. Like a lot of it is like your 5 basic emotions, where each phase of this one AI, who was a K-pop star.
Great.
and the Justin Bieber-esque character August Gaunt was just, I mean, some of this stuff it's genius.
Yeah.
I just wish it was wrapped in a better package.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's. I would say that's a good $30 title. Like, you could have a lot of fun with that game. There's a lot of meat on that bone that I left there just to get through it.
It sounds like it might be even better if you have, like, at least one other person to play it with.
I don't know if there's co-op in that game. I did not check.
I thought there was.
If there is, that game has potential to be amazing.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Man, if you have people running around, that'd be something special. Like, each character has their own roster of 3 to do, but yeah, man.
It does not have co-op.
Oh, well.
Okay. Well, baffling decisions for 1,000, please.
Yeah. Man, that game just screams co-op, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it has all these online bounties, and then you have other submissions and stuff, but all earning extra points and gear. Like, there's a whole crafting section I didn't even get into. But as a whole, the characters were good. By the end, the story ended up being really, really crazy. Just crazy enough.
Yeah.
Like, jumping through time rifts and stuff. It was really neat. Like, again, like, you know, what sucks is the last 2 sets of missions. So probably the last maybe 5 hours of that game was outstanding. The previous 20 was just rote. Like, it was just it's as middle as road as it gets.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Oh, Agents of Mayhem, Dime bag.
Yeah.
Bag.
Anyway, anything else to play this week?
That's it.
All right, Moon Pier. What's on your list?
Okay, we'll start with Tacoma. Tacoma. The sequel to Gone Home from the Fulbright Company.
I didn't know they were the same team.
Exact same team.
Interesting.
I didn't play Gone Home.
Don't
look at my... Like, I own it. I've never actually sat down and gone through it. It's really interesting because it's a first-person story-based game. It's an adventure game, whatever you want to call it, walking simulator. You are sent to a space station, the space station Tacoma, funnily enough, to figure out what happened, to go and retrieve the AI and... Pardon?
Sorry. Spoiler, aliens.
Yeah.
You are sent to go and retrieve the AI from on board the Tacoma, and possibly one of my favorite things about this game is you can actually play it and not get any of the story. When you first land on the ship, you get a tablet, you plug it into the wall, and it gives you a progression bar of how far along the download is in that section. Once that's done, you go to a different section, you download again. Once that's done, different section, download again, then you pick up the AI. You can stand there and just look at that progression bar, and it will fill. And you can just take the tablet off the wall and then walk to the next section and not actually delve into the story at all.
That's interesting.
However, I do recommend you do get into the story. It's a crew of 6, I believe, on board this station. It's set in the kind of near future, where we have already got resorts and casinos in space orbiting the Earth, and they are each overseen by an AI. And there is a really interesting corporate / workers storyline going on, but also the six crew members of the Tacoma. You have to find out their backstory as well. You don't have to, but it's really fun to do so. And the way it does it is when you first get onto the ship, it gives you these 2 things. You plug it into the side of your neck. It says, "Okay, now follow this person in front of you," and it's like it's an augmented reality outline of a person. And you just walk up to it. You put your hand on its hand, and then your other hand on its hand, and then you are now engaged in the augmented reality on the ship. So you don't see people, you see colors of people. So there'll be a red blobby person, like a red person made of sticks with basically a red skin outline, walking around. And you can fast forward and rewind time in this little AR simulation to follow them, listen to what they're saying, watch as they enter key codes into doors, so you get the key codes, and learn more about everybody, learn more about the history of the station, the staff there. The story is genuinely fantastic. Like, I really do love this game. It's really well told. I don't really feel like saying too much about it because #spoilers.
Yeah, that sounds cool though.
But it's one of the few experiences I've had with the modern day adventure game, the modern day walking simulator, and it's actually really well done. I genuinely loved a couple of the characters by the end. There was some attitude in there. There is the chance to learn a lot more about their backgrounds and their history as you're going through. And I would definitely recommend it. I don't think it made as big of a splash as Gone Home did, because it came out and it was basically, I think the general consensus was more of the same.
Yeah,
but
like, it's good.
Yeah, but when Gone Home it was related as like a genre-defining game.
Right.
More of the same can be a big step down. So I loved it. I genuinely enjoyed it. I love the voice actors. I love the story told. I love they won my heart completely when it's just like Gone Home. You can pick everything up. You can examine it. You can look at the food. You can look at the drinks and stuff like that. And it's all in space, so it's all squeezy bottles for drinks.
Nice.
Like, there's a squeezy bottle with a picture of a champagne bottle on it to let you know that is space astronaut champagne.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up a book and I tweeted this image because I think it's a deliberate reference. The book is the Starbender Cycle, which is a direct reference, I think, to Prey 2017.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Mm-hmm. It's not named the same as any of those books, but it sounds like it could be in the series. So I picked it up and I was thinking, I know the Starbender Cycle. Is that what I think it is? Is that the one from Prey?
Right.
I googled it. It is.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there seems to be nice like references in there to nods to like friends of the developers or things that they're fans of.
Right.
So I would recommend giving Tacoma a shot. I'm gonna put this one in the middle because it's the sad one. Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm gonna say that again slower because that was a bit fast. Doki Doki Literature Club. F.U. Boston. Thank you. That is all I have to say on the subject of Doki Doki Literature Club. That game is incredible. That game is mind-blowing. That game is dark. Do not play it if you suffer from depression. Do not play it if you suffer from anxiety.
Yep.
Or any of the kind of darker side of the human psyche. Be very careful. Take the warning seriously. I shouldn't have played it. I will openly admit I should not have played it. Don't be an idiot like me. Like, I shouldn't have, because there's things in that hit way hard. Something I suffer from. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that's very iffy, and especially right now in the midst of full-blown seasonal affective disorder, when I literally can't get out of bed in the morning. It's a little bit harder to deal with on top of that. So take that warning seriously, please. This isn't a tease. This isn't a torment.
Yeah. Take
it seriously. It is 100%, and I'm going to keep using it because I love the phrase, it's a trigger factory.
Yes.
It is designed to not to trigger you per se. It takes that very seriously, and it takes the darker content so maturely and so well handled. It doesn't dismiss it. It doesn't belittle the darker content. But at the same time, it's approached so realistically that you have to be careful.
Did you get the true ending? Or did you just play through it once?
I played through it once. I believe the true ending is that the one, because my wife was looking into this, where you have to play through it, get to a certain point with a save, get to the certain point again with a different save. So I didn't get that one.
I did that this past week, and it was really nice. Not a spoiler, but at the very end, there's a note from the developer, and it was really cool because it's basically just two people that made it, and they were like, "Hey, I appreciate you trying out something different. You know, this game isn't a shooter, it's not an RPG, it's not a standard game, and I like when developers are like, you know what, cool, thank you for trying out our game, and thanks for trying something different. So I thought that was a cool little touch.
Yeah, and I've got nothing but respect for the guy, but at the same time, I shouldn't have played it. I know I shouldn't have. And it was actually funny because you literally, Boston sent me a text message while I was in the middle of playing it, and my response was a photograph of the actual me playing the game. And then it was number 1, F you, number 2, F you, and number 3, yes, I am playing it.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. So, go play it, be warned. Like,
go play it if you can.
Mm-hmm. If you feel like you can't play it, then don't. You are missing out, but it's not worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
If anyone's looking to play it, the developer has it for free on their website, and it's for free on Steam. Because of how the game is, I wholeheartedly recommend playing it on Steam. You will have a more interesting experience by playing it there.
Mm-hmm. Which the plot device used at the end of the game that we discussed over text, that works both without the Steam install, and it also works on the Google Play Store version.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just so you know. And other than talked about earlier, my final game is What Remains of Edith Finch.
I also played this.
This is probably one of my favorite games ever.
It's way up there for me.
The presentation of it, the style of it, the storytelling methodology used, the breaking of your expectations every single time. Like, it's essentially, again, it's another walking simulator, but it's nowhere near as simple as that, because you basically you inception yourself into stories. So you start reading a story, and then you jump into that story. Then once that story's finished, you start reading a different story, and you jump into that story as you're exploring the house of the Finch family, and trying to learn more about this quote-unquote family curse that they have.
Yeah.
And every story, bless you. Every story has distinct defined characteristics, distinct defined characters. Like, each one you can tell is from an actual person.
Vastly different controls. I mean, there's one, the one that really stuck out to me. Well, there's two of them. The one very near the end with the cannery is obviously one of the strongest ones. The one I thought was really interesting was Barbara's, with the one about the scream. It takes place.
The scream. Yes,
I think even that is a cool thing. But it goes so many different places, and it takes so many different ways of telling its story, and each one of them controls in such a cool way that it's just. One I'll talk about is a really early one, where you're a kid swinging on a swing.
I was going to think is the best example of this, I think.
Yeah, and it's like, when you start swinging, you're moving a character, so you're moving the left stick. Like, you're sort of bending off to the side, because you're just using your left leg. And eventually I figured, I have to swing both sticks back and forth to swing both of my legs. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yep, the exact same thing happened to me. I started curling to the left, and I was like, why am I curling to the left? Oh, two legs. Okay. And no explanation. It just plops you in there, and you figure it out very quickly.
Yeah, and so many of them are like that, where you go in, and it doesn't really tell you anything, but just for a couple of seconds exploring it and just putting your hands on it, sort of like, oh, okay, that, because there's really only one action button, and then you use the two sticks. So the amount of input you have is limited enough that you can sort of play around with it really quickly and say, oh, okay, now I know what to do. Cool.
And like, the presentation of that game is incredible as well. Like, the style of the subtitles in the game.
That surprised me. I had no idea that was presented in the game like that. I was like, oh, this is really
the very
cool.
first one you get, it's put in front of a path. It's not the very first one, but exactly enough. It's put in front of a path, in front of a tree, and the path forks left and right. And as you walk towards the fork you want to go down, the subtitles bend around the tree before they shatter and then dissolve into space. And it just keeps doing that presentation-wise over and over and over again. It's like, I've not really had a whole lot of experience with these type of games, and I think I've made a mistake because I seem to be playing the best that the genre has to offer.
It's only downhill from here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I really go and experience another visual novel after Doki Doki Literature Club?
Right. Well, you can, because almost all of them are happier. And I think the great thing about they're sort of dismissively called walking simulators. I think they're adventure games. The great thing about these is I played Edith Finch in one sitting, because it was like 2.5, 3 hours. I did it after everybody went to bed, and I just sort of knocked out another game. And I think that for me is one of the stronger points. I love playing longer games too, but sometimes being able to sit down and start and finish a game in one sitting is pretty great.
Yeah, I think I did Tacoma in 3 sittings. I did Edith in 1. I did Doki Doki in 1. Obviously, a bit of a mad rush for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Spoiler. But it was just genuinely fun with Edith all the way to the end, and I think that was an incredible experience. That is some of the best storytelling I have experienced in video games.
I really want to go back through and get all the trophies and achievements, because there are a couple I missed.
I'm going to. I can't. Same thing with Tacoma. After I beat Tacoma, I was like, well, let's see these achievements, and a couple of them are just really funny ones.
Yeah.
Like rebuild a sign on a wall, things like that. It's really, really cool. But yeah, What Remains of Edith Finch, great game. Thank you, T-Bomb, for pushing me hard into that.
Boone pushed me.
So yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
I built a new computer this past week.
Yay!
Enough trials and tribulations and shopping at Fry's for PC parts, which I will never do again.
Oh, that's right. There's an actual Fry's store out there.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
That's no Micro Center?
No, God, I wish. I went to... Real short story. I went to the computer parts section, where they have like the RAM and the CPU and like the fans and the cases and everything. And I eventually had to ask one of the guys there, I was like, where are the video cards? Like, I've been up and down these aisles. He goes, oh, well, they're not here. And I was like, why? He goes, oh, they're over by computers. I was like, that's a different section? He goes, yeah, it's just take this aisle, go all the way to the other side of the store. And I go over there, and computers means laptops. And there's it's like headphones and keyboards and mice, computer chairs, and then video cards. I was like, okay, I would not have guessed that, so let's do a card. I bought a... The
store layout was done by an idiot, basically.
Basically,
yeah. Headphones are over by the jogging supplies.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, right, of course. I did unfortunately get to look at a Samsung QLED TV, which...
Mistake.
I really want. I cannot afford it, but I want it. So I picked up my GTX 1060, which I'm so far very happy with. And I thought, I need more RAM, because I only bought 16 gigs. I really needed 32. So went back to that previous area I was. They don't have RAM sitting out. Obviously, they're very small, so they can be easily burgled. But I had to take a sheet, like I'm at Toys R Us in the 90s, to get a video game off of the wall and then bring it to one of the guys, so then he could print something up, so I could bring it to the front register, so they get me the RAM.
Oh, wow.
An hour and a half later, I bought RAM and a video card.
That is way too long for that expedition.
And they didn't have the brand I like, which is G-Skill. So he's like, well, we have Viking. And I was like, I don't like Viking. He goes, well, we have Corsair. I was like, Corsair's fine. He goes, we have Crucial. I was like, oh, I could get with Crucial. I could buy one of those. Oh, the only ones we have left have white LEDs on the top. I was like, of the RAM? He goes, yeah. I was like, fine. I don't care anymore. At this point, it had been a solid week of me trying to get a video card from an Amazon seller.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie.
When I asked them where my video card was, they canceled my order. And I was just like, the what? And they go, oh, well, we don't sell the parts. We talk to our distributor, and they ship you the parts, and our distributor doesn't have any left. It's like, you took my order. That's not how this works. You took my order, which means you have one. And now you don't have one. Oh, my God.
So on the flip side, on my computer buying experience was, I researched it online and just kind of looked at some pre-built machine because I just don't have the time to build another one. Shot the specs over to boss and I was like, hey, what do you think of this thing? He's like, wow, okay, that's
a good price.
Seems like a reasonable machine. I'm like, okay. Went into Micro Center, walked in the door, walked over to the computer. I want this one. Here, sir, no problem. We'll get a box out and it'll meet you up front.
Right. 15 minutes later, you have a computer.
Done.
Did you go with an AMD or an Intel?
I went with the AMD.
I went for the Intel.
Ryzen 7.
Yeah, I went for the Intel this time. And mostly because in a couple of years, I'll feel better about AMD's new chips, but they're a little too new for me for how much of a workhorse I need this machine to be. So I stuck with the Intel. I bought an i5 like 7600K, which is light years better than what I was using before. So this is actually the first computer I've built in a really long time that I also didn't take parts from my old machine for. So I carried nothing forward, which I'm very happy with. And as I put on Discord and Twitter, this is the first computer where I've actually cared about cabling, and making a computer look really nice on the inside is way easier than it used to be, even like 3 years ago.
I'm surprised at some of those chases, and it goes behind the board and stuff. Like,
it's really nice.
The SSD mounts behind the motherboard. You're like, great, I don't have to worry about where that goes now.
Yeah, I did that, and like there were a bunch of cables already in a bundle that were Velcroed behind the motherboard. So like I'm just running cables into that and like clearing it in this nice one strand of cables. It's really nice. If I bought a case with a window on the side, which I will never do, my motherboard has a bunch of nice lights on it, so I could see that.
And your RAM.
And my RAM.
Yeah.
Yeah, God.
You gotta make sure that thing works as a nightlight.
Yeah, it's so
peering
crazy.
out of the backs, out of the sides of the box like a mother box. Just...
yeah. But I haven't really. I didn't have a lot of time to build it, so I'm like putting one part in while I'm watching my kid at the same time. So like it took me a week to build it and like another week to configure it. So I haven't really played anything on it. But I did finish two other things other than Edith Finch. First one is the first Destiny expansion, Curse of Osiris, came out this week. Oh boy.
That sounds like a ringing endorsement.
Destiny 2 is already in a bad spot, as we've talked about for last week. I think it was we talked about. Destiny 2 is in a really bad spot. On the 5th came the Curse of Osiris and a really big patch to sort of start fixing some of these problems. The second one comes out this week, where it's the other half of the fixes. This expansion is $20 up front. I usually don't mention that, but this is pertinent. I was not rushing through this content, and I finished the DLC in 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't... So, that to me is too short. Without there being too much supplemental stuff. I know there are some adventures, which what they call side quests. There is... So, when Destiny 2 came out, they had the Leviathan raid. And what they're doing that's sort of interesting is, with every expansion, they're going to put out something, I guess until they do another raid, they're doing something called Raid Lairs, L-A-I-R. I don't know why they call that when there are two words that sound exactly the same. It says, another door opens up in the raid, and there's a whole nother dungeon in there. So they're taking the same dungeon and they're just expanding it, which is kind of a cool idea.
So there's layers.
Right. Layers of layers. And that's kind of a cool idea. And it seems like this new raid lair is sort of short-ish, much shorter than the raid itself. And apparently it's pretty good, but I will never be able to see it. So for me, I got a 2.5-hour experience out of it.
Okay. And can we also talk about the not cool stuff they've done?
Well, we'll talk about that next.
Okay.
My one real big disappointment about this, and I'm going to get hate mail about this, and I don't care if I'm already in a bad mood. Companies like Bungie or Apple come out and say, we've created something brand new, and it's something that everybody else is doing. So
Yep.
They've put something in this called the Infinite Forest. And what it is it is a procedurally generated dungeon. Except, of course, because it's Bungie, they say, oh, well, it's not random, it's not procedurally generated. We just use an algorithm to generate a dungeon based on pre-made tiles that are artist-made. Which is procedural generation.
Yeah.
It's also every single roguelike for the past how long?
Right. Like, since Rogue. In the 70s, 80s. Zyra Smith in chat asks, how tall is Moonbeer? Does anyone know?
6'2", I think.
There you go. So...
Where was that question from?
I don't know, I felt like reading that one. That was an interesting question. So, the story primarily deals with the Guardian Osiris, who in the majority of the first Destiny, in the Grimoire cards, which are sadly missing in Destiny 2, Bungie, was always teased as, like, the greatest Guardian that had a fall from grace. He disagreed with all the other Guardians, and they thought he was crazy, so they basically booted him out, and he disappeared. And he was the teacher of the Warlock, Ikora. You get a lot of backstory on both of them. A lot of it is pretty good. And the final boss battle is kind of like a mini raid boss. And it was actually pretty good. The problem with that, though, is every other mission that you were going into in the game, so a total of 4 missions, was in the Infinite Forest.
Oh, wow.
And it's not that different. So it's not like going from Zone in Diablo 3, or Borderlands even, where it's like, this one's a snowy one, this one's a... It's just kind of... It all has to deal with the Vex, so it all looks like Vex architecture. And it's all...
I hate the Vex architecture.
Yeah, it's fine, but...
So the Infinite Forest is the beta for the DLC, is what you're saying?
The thing is, I sort of don't get it, because it could be really interesting if there was a scoring system if you were going through with your friends. There isn't, because you could do some sort of competitive co-op there. There's no, like, speedrun mode, which would make it kind of cool. There's no endless mode, where it's like, it gets harder and harder and harder until it kills you and you get reward. There's none of that. It just sort of 3 or 4 areas that are procedurally generated that look the same. And for some of them, unless there's what I did for the last one, if there isn't a red gate at the end of this area, you can just run through it. You don't really need to kill anything.
Okay.
So...
Swing and a miss, Bungie.
It's unfortunate, because it's being...
You don't need to do the one mechanic the game centered around.
Yeah, and it's really a bummer, because it's easy to compare this to the first expansion that Destiny 1 got, which is the Dark Below, which was also pretty short, but came with a full raid, and came with a whole bunch of changes, and came with a whole bunch of, like, new weapons and stuff. This does come with a new season for clans, which is sort of interesting, but nobody's playing the game anymore, so the clan has sort of hit a standstill. Because unless you're like me and you have the season pass already, nobody's buying this, because Bungie isn't fixing the problem. So...
Yeah. And they're making more problems on top of that.
Yeah, so what Moonpeer was talking about is something that a lot of MMOs do, and what Bungie has done before, but never this fast. Where,
yeah, that's the issue I have, is the speed of this.
Yeah, what Bungie hasn't done in previous games and is trying to do now is they're trying to take all of the content that's in the game and raise it up to the power level / light level that everybody can get to now. So they're bringing it from 300 light to 335, something like that. So they're taking the raid, and it goes from, like, it was 270 before the expansion launched, and now it's 320, 330, something like that. So they're taking all the content and they're making it hard so that you don't outpace it immediately as soon as you start playing the DLC. The bad part is that if you didn't buy the DLC, you can't play any of that. They have locked you out of that immediately. The raid, heroic strikes, some of the original strikes, some of the exotic quests you can't do anymore because you don't have access to that. Like, the idea of them locking out players from playing the new content is understandable because you have to buy the expansion to get the new stuff. That's a fairly common thing. But unfortunately, you can't say, here's a 2-month-old game that maybe people are buying now that they can't play half of the game because you didn't buy the game and the DLC or the game and the season pass. That sucks. Yeah. Just flat out, that sucks. Like there's
right
no
before
reason
the holiday season as well.
Yeah.
When people are likely to get this as a gift.
Yep. Mina and asks, like, equipment level, is that rating for difficulty? I didn't get in Destiny 2, so I'm trying to figure the number out. Yeah, it's basically an average. Your power level is an average of all the strength of your weapons and your gear. So basically, it's really just every activity has a power recommendation on it, and it's really just, hey, am I this number or higher? If you're lower than that, you're just going to get the crap beat out of you. So you can easily tell, oh, I want to do the raid, I have to hit power level 300 before I can be competitive in there. But it's a bummer. The whole thing is just a bummer. And Destiny 2 continues to be a severe disappointment, especially on the heels of how good Destiny 1 became. And at this point, you might be better served just buying the Destiny 1 collection for $30 and just playing that, because there's a lot of content there. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is just really well tuned and smoothed over. And Destiny 2 is probably going to take a long time to get there. And people are right to say, well, I'm not going to buy Destiny 2 if I just have to wait around for it to get fixed. You shouldn't have to. Like, yep, you're right. Especially when that was Destiny 1. And we already got bitten by it once. So, grumble, 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 grumble. Stupid Bungie. But I did finish a good game, and that's Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Oh, yeah, yes, buddy.
I think I talked about it last week, where I started it out on the second to easiest. Mm-hmm. Very quickly just put that on Don't Hurt Me Daddy, because there was one scene...
Get that bonnet.
Yeah, I'd happily get that bonnet on. There was one scene where you storm a building, and there's like one of the walking robots at the end, and I was like, okay, perfect. There's a second floor, I can go up there. There are Nazis everywhere. Every time I would go there, Nazis coming up behind me, appearing in front of me. As soon as I put it down to the last one, I'm like triple shotting enemies. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm just mowing through fields of these dirty Nazis. It's so good. I probably don't have to tell you that Wolfenstein: The New Order is incredible.
Yes.
I think the thing, any nitpicks I have are really small. Like, the one thing that was driving me crazy was you always get a cutscene between each level, and it was always Carolyn speaking at you very quickly about what you're going to go do, and sometimes I would miss it because she's just like, you're going to do this, and you're going to steal that, you're going to get these weapons, you're going to go do that, and then yay, we're going to kill Nazis. And it's like, wait, what am I doing? You just said a lot of stuff here, lady. I think the thing I was most surprised about is I really liked going back to the Resistance camp and like going interacting with everyone and hunting down the records and finding the health upgrades and like doing all the cool side stuff. Most of the times in games, you're like, oh, they need this file? All right, I'm just going to go pick it up, and like I'm just going to bring this back to Anya. But that was pretty cool, and the whole cast of characters was pretty cool.
There's so much stuff tucked away in every nook and cranny of that place. And
yep.
Did you do the acid trip?
Oh, the nightmare?
Yeah.
Yeah, where
no, the acid trip where the dude's playing the guitar.
No, I didn't do that.
I think did you pick Fergus? I think you picked Fergus, didn't you? I think you only get that if you pick the other guy.
Oh, well, I won't get it because the other guy sucks.
What, the hippie guy with the headphones and the guitar?
Yeah, he's not in my game. That must be the Wyatt timeline.
He's in the Wyatt timeline.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, I got in Fergus's timeline.
Yeah, I got the Fergus timeline.
Oh, you missed a crazy moment.
Yeah. No, I did do the nightmare, which was let's play through Wolfenstein 3D's first level. And I forgot
awesome.
That first level is long. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was really good. I thought overall the shooting was competent, not super great all the time. The cover system was pretty good, but a little too touchy. When you're popping up and behind, you have Moonpier rocking back and forth around corners. I have played this so late that a lot of the oh my god moments have been spoiled already, like going to the moon, which was still a pretty cool scene.
His reaction to landing on the moon is like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm on the moon.
There was only one part where I got horribly lost, and that was during the train crash area, where it's like, you need to get to this car, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yep.
I don't know how, but sure, let's do that. I spent way too long there. Yeah, game is great. BJ is great. Anya was fantastic. The way the story wrapped up, the sad as hell ending, the whole thing was really, really solid. I don't have to tell you that it's really good. You should go play it. I think I burned through it on the easiest difficulty in like 8 hours. Like it did not. It's 16 chapters, and on the easiest difficulty, if you're sneaking, you're one-shotting people with the handgun if they don't see you. So it's pretty fun. And screw those dogs.
Was it better than you thought it was? Like, I mean, I don't know what your expectation was going into that, because it blew mine out of the water.
I think my expectation was this is just going to be a shooter, and it's going to be fine. And I know a lot of people, yourself included, Knobs, have really sung its praises. But I think so much... The shooting is really competent, and I think if I had way more time, I would probably go back and play it on a harder difficulty just to kind of stretch those muscles. But I would rather go play the Old Blood and Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
And I think for me the best part is I cared about the characters and I cared about the story, which I really didn't think I was going to. Yep. And I think BJ and Anya's voice actors are both really great. I think that's a huge part to play. Fergus is lovable the entire time. He's great.
Something I learned recently as well, that whole game, the first one and Wolf 2, possibly the Old Blood as well, but I'm not sure, but definitely New Order and New Colossus, they were performance captured as well.
Oh, sure, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, yeah, because like that's another thing I really liked is just, I talked about it last week, but the direction of the cutscenes were really, really... Who directed those, but I keep finding that person more work. And I forgot about the London Monitor, which was a really cool unveiling scene and a really annoying boss battle.
Yep.
Because I shot the engine once and it stepped on me, so I had to do the entire fight all over again. That was less fun. But yeah, that game is really good, and I'm really excited. I probably won't have time to do it today, but tomorrow to start on the Old Blood, bang that out in whatever the 4 hours that it is to knock that out and start right on Wolf 2. And knock out that crazy thing. Sadly not in time for top 10, but that would have made my top 10 list even harder to figure out.
Yep.
I didn't really need that, but yeah, go play Wolfenstein. It's good, and those Nazis deserve killing.
Oh, they do, and you do it so well.
Yeah, you really do. All right, and that's all I played. So let's take a break.
Welcome back, everybody. We got releases this week for December 11th, 2017. Okami HD for the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Yes.
That game looks great. I was surprised. There's been 2 warring factions that I think are really interesting. Apparently, the game is locked at 30 frames at 4K, and it's been interesting. A lot of people are like, they take the attitude that I take, which is, it's an older game, so it probably has to, so the game works. Because so many games, if they were locked at that frame rate at that era, it's if you put it up to 60, the physics don't work, the graphics engine doesn't work anymore, the music is all weird. Like, so much of it was tied to the frame rate. Game, they can't really do that. So
it's the Dark Souls on PC problem.
Exactly.
When they did Dark Souls, they did a 60 frames per second fix. Hey, all of your weapon durability is now doubled.
And we fall through the floor because physics aren't working right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could buy that game a third time.
I think I have it twice, and I still haven't played it.
Yeah. No, I played it twice, but never really played it.
So long.
Yeah, man, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the end is nigh for the Switch.
It's I played that a little bit on PC. That's pretty good. I like it.
All right. And Enter the Gungeon for the Switch.
That has to be a pretty good platform to play that on, because you can be mobile with that.
Yeah. A good sit down in a corner and play that game.
Yeah.
And PlayerUnknown Battleground comes out for the Xbox.
PUBG.
Yup.
So everybody except for me is going to be playing that for the rest of time, right?
We'll see.
You know what? I hope it grabs us. And for us, I mean, I hope it grabs Donnie.
Yes. The decision maker.
If he gets into that game, that will be the thing we play for the next couple of years. That'll be the next Battlefield 4.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've always been disappointed he's never gotten into Siege, but at the same time, he has standpoints which you can't get past with Siege.
Sure.
It's the hardline argument. He doesn't like that.
Right. Cops in PUBG, so let's do it.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
If he can get into it, I can't wait to see what phrases he comes up with to describe jumping out of an airplane.
It's gonna
I mean, if
dumping a turkey, I don't know.
Someone with a retro lancer turns into Wicked Tuna, who knows?
Yeah.
Yep.
So good. All right, a couple of news stories this week. Surprisingly, the Game Awards were good.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know those were on.
Yeah, that was sort of the problem. Someone put in Discord, "Hey, the VGAs are on." I was like, okay. Well, let's fire up Twitch then."
My response was, let's play Doki Doki Literature Club instead.
Yeah. That's 6 of one, half dozen the other on that one. Hey-o.
Probably equal parts of sad.
Yeah. It was actually pretty well done this year. It focused... there were some pretty good unveilings and trailers, which I wanted to break down here. From Software teased a new game that maybe looks like Bloodborne 2, which could be interesting. I sort of hope it isn't, because I kind of want them to stop making that style of game and make other crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But it makes them a lot of money, so I sort of can't blame them.
Got to pay the bills.
Yeah. In the Valley of Gods is Campo Santo's new game. That's the team that made Firewatch. Looks like they're making like a 1950s Egyptian tomb raiding adventure game. So I will pre-order that and I will play that, because Firewatch was real good.
Also, they get massive thank you on the credits for Edith Finch. I don't know if you noticed.
That's true, yeah. Yep. So did Neil Druckmann, which I thought was really interesting. He was marked as a beta tester, that guy that works at Naughty Dog. Soul Calibur 6 announced. Just came out of nowhere with the original announcer, which is really cool. The little stinger at the end of him saying, you know, the what is it, the stage of ages? Stage of victory.
The battle of your fates.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That seems really good. Basically, the trailer was just...
Your soul decides.
Yeah.
The cliche of cliche.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, basically the trailer was just, hey, let's watch two people beat the crap out of each other for 2 minutes. So yeah, that looks good. It will be Soul Calibur. I will appreciate it from a distance. I have no one to play it with on a couch, so I probably won't buy it. Sorry, Soul Calibur. Unless you have a really cool multiplayer lobby. Yeah. Then I might. Fortnite announced a new mode. It's 50v50. So cough cough mag, cough cough. That would
please. They wish.
I wish. You want to say, hey, Fortnite did mag? I say, cool. Where do I sign up? Oh, just buy Fortnite. Okay, cool. That would be fine. Nice to see Fortnite continuing to do more stuff.
A little disappointed with the fact that they released the Battle Royale expansion, which is basically PUBG. Except in Fortnite world. Yeah. And they made it free for everybody. And now they don't seem to really care about the game you paid for anymore.
It's all in flux. It's all changing. I don't know. Fortnite's interesting. The greatest character action games you probably haven't played, Bayonetta 1 and 2, are headed to the Switch. If you haven't played them, that's a really good time to do so, especially because they announced Bayonetta 3, which, holy crap, really? That's exciting.
Wait, is that a Nintendo exclusive?
It's a Switch exclusive. Yeah.
Son of a...
Come on.
Yep. Honestly, Nintendo's the only company that wants to give them money, so Nintendo gets they get to write the contract. So
you know what? I guess that game's still the thing, which is, I think, a good thing. Yeah. Did you ever play Bayonetta 2?
I own it, but it was on the Wii U, so I didn't play it. Sort of a bummer. And now this is going to be on the Switch, so it means I won't play it. I loved the first one. First one was great. Play the crap out of that.
Nintendo, all you need to do is get me a Metroid game. That way I can play Bayonetta. Because I am not buying a Nintendo console that doesn't have Metroid.
Yep. 2-for-1 deal. Kojima Productions showed off another Death Stranding trailer.
I'm done with this.
Is this the Norman Reedus thing?
Yeah.
I'm just done. I'm not even going to pay attention to it because right now it's Kojima as Kojima can be, and I won't care until I see what the actual game is. Because
that's my whole thing. Is like, so there have been so many threads where it's like, oh, it's genius. Oh, what's the gameplay going to be like? I cannot bring myself to be that interested yet until it's a game.
I honestly don't think it is right now. That's the biggest. Just a bunch of CG cutscenes.
They made a specific note to mention at the PlayStation Experience that half of that trailer was real-time running on the PS4 Pro, which, sure, okay,
whatever.
Why not? It's, to me, these aren't the great Kojima trailers. Like the 17-minute Metal Gear Solid 3 trailers, those are the good ones, because you get to see a lot of story, a lot of gameplay. This is just, hey, I'm Kojima, and I like putting out weird stuff that makes people confused.
It's the Metal Gear Solid 5 trailer?
Yeah.
How can Kojima still be doing stuff, and Itagaki can't make another game?
Metal Gear Solid, that's why.
Yeah, I think Itagaki never got the right backers. I don't think enough people trusted Itagaki, and I think the right people trusted Kojima. And I think part of that is because Kojima is well known for being a very affable guy, and Itagaki is well known for being a super D. And it's
man, he's a super D and made some great games.
Yeah. And then as soon as he left, they didn't. And he didn't, unfortunately. So, which is kind of a bummer. And last but not least, Sea of Thieves launches March 20th, 2018. Hey, that's pretty good. That trailer was pretty interesting. They showed that way too early, I think, but...
Oh, yeah. It's the Crackdown.
Yeah, well, yeah. Except this one's coming out. But I think...
Come on.
I think every time they have shown this game, it has been a huge improvement over what they've shown before. And I think that's what's really important for them in these trailers, is to say, cool, here was this first trailer, now the second one is an actual real game, and now this one is, hey, this is the game that's coming out, and there's a ton of stuff for you and your friends to do in it.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. So, a couple of really interesting things that came out, and I think Game of the I didn't really see that coming. It wasn't even going to be Prey, sadly, because we don't run it. But I think Breath of the Wild was sort of a surprise, and I think best story with Finch.
I know it won something, but I don't know what it won.
Best narrative, I think it was, which set Twitter ablaze with, what's this now? Instead of, I'll just play it. So, next news story, Capcom announced Mega Man 11. Like they're making a good Mighty Number 9.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, is a very, very low watermark. But I think the unveiling of the graphical style on this is sort of like, oh, that's how it's supposed to look. Gotcha. Cool. Okay. So it very much is 3D models, 2D plane, 8 Robot Masters, and it's Mega Man 11. It's going to come in summer of 2018. And it's...
Yeah, I saw some video of this. That looks legit.
Yeah. And I think
it looks like what I was hoping to get from Mighty Number 9.
And I think it's been long enough since Mega Man 10 that I could be pretty interested in it, because 9 and 10 came too close to each other. There needed to be more breathing room between them.
Having never played a Mega Man game, I really don't care.
I would still recommend 9. I think 9 is really good. Of the modern ones, Mega Man Collection 1 and 2 are both coming to the Switch as well. Collection 1 is good. Collection 2 isn't. I think they're coming out with the Mega Man X collection also, which is...
That would be the one I would start with if you had never played a Mega Man game. Mega Man X is probably where it would be at.
Yeah, X1 is still really good.
Did you see that video of that dude that beat Mega Man X, 2, and 3 with the same controller at the same time?
Yeah, that was fascinating.
What?
Some games, like in 2 games, he's running into a wall because the 3rd game he needs to keep running across the stage and backtracking to keep going forward. Like, it's... God, that's so cool. Man. Speedrunners. And last but not least, Sony had their PlayStation Experience 2017, which they did not lie was a much smaller showcase than in previous years. They did announce Wipeout Collection. The Omega Collection is now getting a VR update.
Oh, good God.
Which is just a vomitorium.
Yep. Are you ready to throw up a lot?
Even in the trailer, I was sort of like, this is... In 2D, this is a bit much for me. Because it's full-on in-cockpit.
Like, does it feel like... I feel like they're milking that franchise right now. They've closed all the studios who used to make it. And the fact that you're putting something which, in my opinion, is totally unsuitable for VR in VR and just calling it Wipeout...
I thought the Omega Collection was fine. I think this
The Omega Collection was great.
I think this is sort of padding the ranks of VR, where it's like, now we have old number plus 1 VR titles.
Yeah.
So,
don't worry, we haven't forgotten about you, PlayStation VR.
There's a bunch of Vita games that came out this week.
I know.
Papers, Please is coming out next week.
Oh.
2064 Read-Only Memories just came out.
Now, let's talk about a game that would be great in VR.
Papers,
Please.
Yeah. God of War, Cory Balrog. I always want to say
Barlog.
I always want to say the Street Fighter character. It's not. He was talking a bunch about a very ragged trying to finish the game. Cory was up there talking, and he's saying that I think this shows how little I know about God of War, because I'm just sort of waiting for it to come out, that it's going to be around a 30-hour experience.
Really?
So,
that's like 3 times the experience.
Yeah, so is this kind of open world?
It's Dark Souls-y, isn't it? That's pretty much all I've seen from it, is more Dark Souls-style combat.
I haven't even seen that. I've just seen, like, the cinematic trailers and, like, I threw an axe, woo!
I saw the gameplay stuff for it, and it looks very much like they've taken that and it looked from the Dark Souls games. And if it turns out it's that hard, that's why it's a 30-hour experience. Yeah. It's actually a 5-hour experience. It's just so hard. You have to grind for that amount of time.
Just put it to the difficulty.
If you have to grind in God of War, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Just put it to the difficulty where he has like a bonnet and a pacifier, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Baby Kratos.
Yeah. They showed off more Detroit Beyond Human, which sadly was the same sequence we've seen in like the last 2 E3s, which is the hostage situation.
Oh, where she's getting shot in the alley in Detroit?
No, that's... I don't know what that one is. Maybe you're thinking of Cyberpunk 2077.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the Witcher guys. That's their next one. This is the one, I'm an android. My name is Connor. What's your name? That whole thing. Still does not look great.
I don't like games that guy makes, so I will not be playing this game.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to play Heavy Rain, and I bounced straight off that. I'm not interested in Beyond the Breath of Two Souls, or whatever it's called.
Heavy Rain was really good up until it blew a hole in its own plot. Just wide open.
This guy, like, for lack of a better way to put it, this guy seems to only care about graphical power, and I don't care about how great your game looks if the gameplay is complete and utter.
He is not. You know, the whole thing about, you know, a bunch of people have been interviewing David Cage, and they're like, this is really like a powerful, like, rise up, you know, androids versus human story. And he's like, no. Why would it be? And it's like, well, then what the hell are you...
What are your trailers saying?
That's literally what your trailers are saying about your game. Anyways. A game I didn't know I wanted is called Donut County. This game is crazy because basically you're controlling a hole in the ground that you need to put stuff... You put the hole under stuff and stuff falls into it, sort of like a reverse Katamari.
Yeah, inverse Katamari is how I've been seeing it.
Where it sold me was you tossed a bonfire in the hole, so smoke started coming out of it, and then you went under a hot air balloon, and then that made the hot air balloon raise out. And I was like, oh, okay, so there's going to be some puzzly stuff here. Cool. That'll be fun. That'll be one of those games that I will probably champion for a while and be like, no, it's really fun.
Like Tornado, Twister, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that was a good game. 2 thumbs up. Medieval is getting a remaster for the PS4.
See, I didn't know it was a remaster. I just saw Medieval. I thought,
game?
yes, they're making a new game. No, they're making a remaster. Guess what? I now don't care anymore.
I still care because I really like the first Medieval game. I sort of wish they would have just made like a brand new, smaller, downloadable Medieval. But the first Medieval is really good.
I love Medieval. I just don't want to play it again 20-something years after the fact. Not every game is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And
it's sort of... I don't know how you're going to remaster a very, very early PS1 game. I don't... Interesting. And last but not least, I had to hide it in the news stories from Knobs. Gungrave VR was announced. Coming out for the PSVR and other VR products next year. They're making a VR first person. I genuinely did not see this coming.
Is this a PlayStation VR experience?
And other VR platforms.
Okay. I was going to say, you're going to make Knobs go out and buy a PSVR now.
No, that would be the
that would be the icing on the cake that now I got to buy another headset.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the darkest horse of PS2 character action games, Gungrave, where you are carting around a coffin that shoots people, will
in
now
the
be
best
a VR
ways.
game.
How are you going to do the bullet dance? This is going to be weird.
Hey man, I don't know. We'll find out when it comes out and you buy it day one.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this will be bought.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get this VR thing set up so I can...
Yeah, once you finish drilling holes in your house.
Yeah, once I finish drilling holes and I start yelling at people in Star Trek Bridge Commander, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play that.
That's all of our news stories, and we don't have any questions this week. So thank you very much for listening to our episode. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Email us tvgpfans@gmail.com. Tweet us at tvgp. The link to the Discord and on the now working Thank You GoDaddy website, tvgp.tv, on the right-hand side of the page.
All right, and hey, come play games with us Monday night, 10 p.m. EST on the Xbox One. We're always playing something that particular night. Tuesdays, I guess Destiny. Wednesdays, Rocket League on PlayStation 4, and Thursday through the weekend, come join us for our golf tournaments. They are trying to do them bi-weekly. Once every 4 days, the place goes crazy.
Yep.
Yep. So.
And our current game club title is Inside, that we're going to be talking about next week. The very last game club game for the year. What, Knobs is... or Moonpear shaking his head.
Is this month already?
It's another game I'm going to plow through in a week.
Okay.
Wait, that's next week? Do we got to do predictions and that next week?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, game club is on Saturday, predictions are on Sunday. Don't worry, it's a day apart. I just have to edit them all on the same day. So go play Inside and watch us live, twitch.tv/E1M1 Network. The Happy Game Podcast over on YouTube, patreon.com/E1M1. I do have a statement about Patreon's recent fee changes. You can go see that even if you're not a patron. We'll see you all next week.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Moonpear, hit me with them titles. Hit me with them hot things.
Wicked Tuna.
Yeah, I have that one.
Weirdly Jacked Crow. Because the tenor phrase is so great.
Weirdly Jacked Crow, and then, yeah, that crow is yoked.
Yeah.
Get that bonnet on. Nazis everywhere. A little too close to home, maybe.
Yeah.
Screw those dogs. Baffling decisions for 1,000, please. Spoiler aliens. F you Boston. Layer of layers. And sad as hell ending and equal parts of sad.
I have Inconceivable, Wicked Tuna, That Course Had My Number, You Gotta Pick the Lambo, Layer of Layers, which I really like, It's All Squeezy Bottles, and Weirdly Jacked Crow. I like Knobs' delivery on Layers of Layers.
Yeah, Layers of Layers.
You see, here's the thing. Wicked Tuna is so inside baseball, and it is so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to get this streaming up so people can experience the madness that is Donnie.
Yeah.
Good luck explaining to him how to turn that feature on.
No. I'm going to capture party chat and not tell him.
That's the thing, he has to opt in.
Oh, he'll just go over to Donnie's house and turn it on.
Yeah, I'll just turn it on.
Yeah. No sense explaining it to him.
Just him running across. Here comes a Wicked Tuna.
I'm happy to go with Wicked Tuna if you want.
Mm-hmm. Wicked Tuna's fine by me.
Oh.
Knobs, you can be the decider. Layer of Layers or Wicked Tuna. They're both winners.
No, I'll go Layers.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 529 for December 11th, 2017. Layers of Layers.
So I can say Wicked Tuna.
It's not a dragon's lair.
Alright, thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, nubs.
For watching live. We're done. Well, Moonpear and I aren't done. We have to go record T-Bomb.
Yay.
Yeah, but we're
going to go eat some pickles.
Knobs gonna go eat some pickles. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.